Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Thursday the 29th of July 2021. We're publishing our regular morning update where we look at the latest news headlines, economic reports and precious metal prices. Today we see that in the last 24 hours, gold and silver both jump higher on dollar weakness on the back of a rather dovish FOMC announcement yesterday. So let's take a look. Well, good morning, Thursday morning, 29th of July, 10 o'clock AM GMT +1. Some interesting comments today about the Fed, which we'll cover briefly, and then hopefully later in the day, a more in-depth analysis on what the Fed actually said, or more importantly, what Jerome Powell actually said yesterday. We said it would be an important day, and it was. And it certainly helped gold and silver prices, and we shall look at that in a moment. Main headlines on Bloomberg. Once the world's busiest port, London aims to revive its river trade routes. So we're not only going to become the financial services center of the world, we're going to become the world's busiest port too. We shall see how well that goes. Credit Suisse profit misses estimates as bank pairs gains, or rather as bank pairs risk, I should say. In fact, we discussed Credit Suisse yesterday. They are in a world of hurt. German unemployment drops more than expected as economy recovers. Now that suggests something, Germany being the powerhouse of what is now the European Union. We shall see how that affects the US dollar. Looking at Reuters quickly, Australia's Sydney posts record daily rise in COVID-19 cases, seeks military help. For those who don't believe that COVID-19 isn't real, well, if it is a scam, it's certainly spread far and wide. Huge quake of magnitude 8.2 on Alaska Peninsula triggers tsunami alert. Airbus challenges Boeing cargo dominance with an A350 freighter. Biden to ask federal workers to get vaccinated or face testing. You see, however you may think of the COVID-19 pandemic, these politicians would not be so keen and eager to encourage vaccinations, especially in America, where to some extent it would politically cause them some harm. So either they are pulling the wool over everyone's eyes, or they are 100% legit and authentic. You have to make up your own mind as to which. Let's continue. BBC News, drug firm fined for huge price rise that hits the NHS. Advance push up the price of thyroid tablets, packs more than tenfold, says the competition watchdog. We have perhaps a little more stringency here in the UK, where our pharmaceutical industry, yes, attempts all sorts of, shall we say, price appreciations, but they are often limited, whereas in the US, where drugs should be considerably cheaper in view of the scale, do tend to be considerably more expensive. And you have to ask yourselves why. Furlough scheme to wind down further from August. Someone said we lost our life savings in a cryptocurrency scam. Australia house prices soar at unsustainable rate. And we published a video last week asking, have house prices reached their peak? And we've concluded, not yet. Netflix to ask US cast and crew to get vaccinated, and car production hit by pandemic and chip shortage. On the US gunmaker offers $33 million to school shooting victims. Dressel wins second gold in Tokyo. USA Salib Dressel sets an Olympic record on his way to winning the men's 100-meter freestyle gold. I'm sure our American viewers are over the moon about that. Well done. Show you this though, we thought this was quite interesting. UK sends 9 million vaccines to vulnerable areas, and the vaccine tourists heading to the US to get their jab. Some people are spending thousands of dollars to travel to the United States to get a coronavirus vaccination. That will please some and annoy others. Okay, more importantly for us at the moment, US economic recovery making progress, says the Fed. But they're not going to cut back on tapering just yet, and no real mention of bringing forward interest rate rises. In fact, the Fed's comments were so sufficiently dovish that they caused the dollar index to fall. Now, if you recall, a couple of days ago, the dollar index was just over 93. Yesterday, it was in the mid-92s. And now today, it's 91.99. And that has fed through in a number of areas. Oil has gone up, $0.75 almost. And we can see that gold prices over the last 24 hours shot up $22 or 1.22%. And you can see on the chart here exactly what's happened. So that's really positive, and silver too has benefited, thank goodness, because it had fallen into the mid-24 category as low as 24.64 yesterday. And that's now up 74 cents. We're not totally convinced it's out of the woods yet, but it certainly needed this jump. And that's because of the dollar fall and the Fed chair's comments yesterday, which we've highlighted last week and on the weekend, would be an important day for gold and silver prices. Now, we also have today and tomorrow being important for gold and silver prices, because today we have the initial jobless claims report and the continuing jobless claims report, what we call the first one, the weekly jobless claims. We also have GDP, first estimate for Q2, and pending home sales index for June. And then tomorrow, a plethora of data: employment, personal income, consumer spending, core inflation, and the UMich Consumer Sentiment Index. So these will have a bearing. They will either support what was said yesterday or will contravene them. And we wait to see those results. What we can say, and now the figures have come through on this chart, we mentioned in yesterday's morning's video, durable goods orders were down considerably from both what they were the previous month and against expectations. But also we have a consumer confidence index, though, that was higher than anticipated, and the home ownership rate has fallen by 0.2%. So we'll await these figures today, and as I say, they will either reaffirm a growing economy or otherwise. But we cannot underestimate the dovish tone yesterday. That will help act as a tailwind behind precious metal prices. But there are other things that are acting as solid headwinds. Looking at cryptocurrencies, they too are up, and now we have Bitcoin mid-price over $40,000. The chartists reckon if it exceeds 42.5, it's straight away on its way to 50, and then if it exceeds that, it'll surpass its all-time high of just over $64,000. We'll wait and see if that's the case. But again, cryptos, although a couple of them are in the red, the main ones are in the green this morning, and that's after quite a few days of significant rises. So much so that the crypto market is now 1.55 trillion and rising. And we shall be putting a video, if not today, then tomorrow, on the Crypto Plus channel, if you're a subscriber to that. If not, we've got a link below. Yesterday's video, we got reasonable viewing. The day before, we published one behind closed doors, some of the subjects that bankers discuss in private. Worth a listen if you're interested. It's no direct effect really on gold and silver prices, but it'll just give an insight, and we'll periodically put one or two of these up just to give you a flavour as to what's being discussed in the financial services world that the main newspapers don't publish. And the video we did do, why there will be no stock market collapse anytime soon, quite important really, because frankly, markets seem to be continuing generally to rise. And on that point, as you can see yesterday, although the Dow was down and the S&P, the Nasdaq was up, so was the NYSE Composite and the S&P TSX Composite Index. They're all either close to or at their all-time highs. And today, the European and UK markets are up, albeit all under 1%, admittedly, but nevertheless in positive territory, and all of the Asia-Pacific markets, or the main ones that have followed here, were also up. So positive news really all round. Let's see what happens when these figures come out later today, and we'll have a look at that in Friday morning's update. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, press the bell sign, give us a thumbs up to help the algorithm, and a small comment. Until our next video. Disclaimer. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.